Celebrating Women, sponsored by Sweeney Chevrolet Buick GMC.
Welcome to a 27 First News special presentation celebrating women.
March is Women's History Month. We've been sharing stories throughout the month of women who've made a difference and are still making a difference.
We begin with the story on voting. It's easy today. As a woman, if you want to vote, you walk into your polling location, cast a ballot, and your voice is heard.
But back in the 1800s, it wasn't so simple. As I found out, local women in Salem played a big role in securing that right, and they risked a lot to make it happen.
It was not an easy task.
It's 1850. Women aren't allowed to vote. They're not allowed to divorce. They're not recognized at all under the law. Then in April, in Salem, Ohio, women from all over the state came here for the Ohio Women's Convention.
It was a very forward-thinking and assertive and risky proposition.
Ginger Grilly is president of the Salem Historical Society. She says this was huge. It was the first state convention in the U.S. It was also the first to try to change a state constitution.
Women were beaten. They were shunned in society if they advocated for the right to vote. It was socially unacceptable.
They put out a call, only expecting 200 people to show up. More than double turned out, making a long and difficult journey to this little valley town.
Wagons, walked, horses. That's how people traveled in those days.
Right where I am now, this is where these very women walked. I know it's hard to picture it, but bear with me here for a second. Right here behind me in this parking lot, that's where one church was back in 1850. This parking lot was another one. This is where these women changed the course of history.
It was to address our role in society and to attempt to change the state constitution.
By the end of this two-day convention, the group came up with 22 resolutions, 22 things they believed should be considered fundamental rights. They weren't adopted yet, but it made progress. After several more conventions just like this one, women were finally allowed to vote in 1920.
I'm a passionate person about voting. But particularly to know that at one point in the past, women didn't have that right and weren't recognized. And so to me, that's very important.
But why Salem? Why our home? Turns out it was the perfect concoction.
There was a lot of support here for equality for all people, black, white, men, women, children. Salem was a logical place to do that because there was the support, there was the space, and there were people willing to undertake the tasks.
Now, another thing that was different about this convention, men weren't the leaders or the speakers. The women were. At other conventions before this one, women attended, but they couldn't speak, and they definitely didn't organize them. This convention, though, changed the game.
This month, we had the chance to talk to a woman who's helped pave the way in her field. Rebecca Armstrong works for ODOT in Ashtabula County. 30 years ago, she was one of the first 5 women to start there. She was also ODOT's first female manager in the county. Here's her advice for any woman trying to make change.
Don't be afraid that you don't know it all, because you don't have to know it all. You know, and put yourself out there. And while you're putting yourself out there, don't ever let anybody make you think you don't belong at the table.
Armstrong has worked her way up, and she has seen more women working in transportation.
Well, some call her the queen of country music.
Dolly Parton has been entertaining people for 5 decades. She tells us what she thinks is the key to her success and why she continues to give back.
And we've already told you about the Salem Women's Convention. Next, we'll take you to Trumbull County. That's where one woman hosted 5 presidents while she was fighting to earn the right to vote.
Start your future today. Visit Newcastle School of Trades.
It's
kind of hard to see the ball.
I've been there. I had a TV service with hardly any sports in 4K. Couldn't see any of the quality details. I switched to DirecTV. Now I get the most live sports in 4K.
So how does that help me?
You know what? It really doesn't. I don't know why I told you that. Go get him, Floyd.
Live sports that aren't in 4K are just Kinda TV. Switch from Dish and get a $100 reward card. Don't just Kinda TV, DirecTV.
Hi, I'm Alexa Sweeney-Blacon, Vice President of Sweeney Chevrolet Buick GMC. We love having a diverse workforce of men and women working together. We have opportunities for everyone, and they help us make the best possible car buying experience.
My name is Stephanie Pozica, and I have worked for the Sweeneys for 40 years.
Hi, I'm Amanda Tharp, and I'm in customer relations here at Sweeney.
My name is Caitlin Leonelli. I am the HR generalist at Sweeney Chevrolet Buick GMC.
We're really proud of our women employees who are breaking boundaries and serving the Mahoning Valley.
Sweeney. Casals Baseball and Salon, your premier source for relaxation and rejuvenation for over 23 years. We exclusively carry Aveda products, and they're all naturally derived. It's a great product. We use naturally derived color. Our color sets itself apart from other color lines because it is natural and it has a natural shine to it. And I think being 97% naturally derived is a great thing about hair color that not a lot of people can say. Experience life lived well.
Welcome back. This year, Dolly Parton was honored during the Grammys for decades of entertaining country music fans.
Reporter Kristen Farley looks back at Dolly's storied career and at a movie that made a statement for women.
All right, here we go. I'm just always on the job. You can't just, pull back for a year or two and expect people to remember you. I've never left the scene. So I try to think I'm relevant because I work hard all the time.
East Tennessee's Dolly Parton showing no signs of slowing down. Her career already spanning more than 5 decades, earning her more than 47 Grammy nominations and more than 25 #1 songs, as well as countless other movie and music accolades. While most people know her for her performances and, of course, her looks, it is a reading program called Imagination Library that has delivered more than 1 million free books to children across the world that stands out to her as one of her greatest accomplishments.
As you know, it started because of my love for my dad. A lot of my relatives that didn't get a chance to go to school because they were country people having to work the fields.
But as we all know, being one of 12 children and growing up in a 1-bedroom country home near the Great Smoky Mountains never stopped Dolly. In fact, it has often been the inspiration of some of her greatest moments, like the hit song, Coat of Many Colors.
It is true, we had no money, but I was rich as I could be in my coat of many colors that Mama made for me, made just for me.
Today, Dolly's wardrobe quite different, often filled with sequins and bright colors, something Dolly has always said is quite intentional.
I just think it's whatever suits you and you're comfortable with is what you should kind of reach out and do. Everybody don't want to look like I do. I'm usually so overdone, but it seems to work for me.
And you might say going for it is exactly what Dolly did when she was approached about her first movie, 9 to 5. Not only was it a box office hit, it was a movie designed to shine a light on an important issue for women.
Jane Fonda, who co-produced that movie, she's the one that came up with the idea. She got in touch with Pat Resnick, who wrote the script, and it was just really a way to empower women and to really put women, you know, in the spotlight, to say, hey, we know what we're doing here. We're good at what we do. We deserve to be paid for what we do. We need to be respected in the workplace.
Despite her fame and fortune, Dolly has never wavered from her mission to give back and bring honor to her family. And even while we recognize Dolly, she has some advice for all of us women as well.
Keep at it. Believe in yourself. Respect each other. Respect yourself, and you know, just get out there and do what you know you can do, and don't take no bull from nobody.
Love it. That's some great advice. Later this year, the Grand Ole Opry in Nashville will honor Dolly for her contributions to country music.
I love that. Now, the Valley played a big part in getting women the right to vote. The convention in Salem we told you about was one push. Next, we'll take you to this house in Warren, where a leader in the suffrage movement pitched her ideas to presidents.
Later, we'll talk to a woman who grew up right here in the Valley. She had a part in a box office hit that passed the $800 million mark in ticket sales.
We switched.
I switched to Chevy.
I switched to Chevy.
We switched to Chevy.
I switched from a Ram to a Chevy.
See why people are switching to Chevy.
We love our Chevy. Why do we switch? Just look at it.
Get 16% below MSRP on most Equinox models when you finance with GM Financial. Or current competitive owners get 21% below MSRP. That's over $8,300 on this Equinox.
Hi, I'm me. And that's me 30 days ago before I switched to Spectrum. With Spectrum TV, I get tons of HD and thousands of titles free on demand. With satellite, I have to have special equipment to watch on demand, plus that dish on my roof.
Get Spectrum TV and Internet from $89.98 a month. Call 833-271-8998.
Spectrum Internet has speeds of 100 megabits, so I can surf, my wife can stream, and the kids can game. All at once. Our Internet can't keep up with all our devices, so I schedule all of our online time. I get every other Tuesday.
Get Spectrum TV and Internet from $89.98 a month.
Best of all, Spectrum bought out my old contract, making it easy to switch. Wait, what? Will they do that for me? Yeah, because I'm you, 30 days from now.
Get Spectrum TV and Internet from $89.98 a month. Plus, ask how you can save up to 40% on your wireless bill with Spectrum Mobile. Better services at a better price. Call 833-271-8998.
News happens outside of this building. It happens on our streets, at our schools, and in our neighborhoods. That's why anchors at Channel 27 get out from behind the desk. We're there when news impacts you. Telling your stories, answering your questions, a different perspective to local news every day. Major local news that matters to you. Watch weeknights starting at 5 on WKBN 27 First News.
Welcome back to a 27 First News special presentation celebrating women. 100 years ago, women couldn't vote. Only white men had that privilege. Toward the late 1800s, the women's suffrage movement was catching steam, with well-known figures like Susan B. Anthony leading the charge. What you may not know, a lesser-known suffragist who played a major role in the movement was from Warren. First News anchor Mandy Knoll is bringing us the story of Harriet Taylor Upton.
Everything we read about her, people loved her.
Born in 1853 in Ravenna, Ohio, Harriet Taylor Upton was the daughter of lawyer turned Congressman Ezra Taylor. The family moved into this home downtown Warren during her childhood. Her mother was almost always ill while her father worked in Washington, D.C.
Would go to Washington often and would take Harriet, and she became friends and well known and highly respected in Washington.
It's there, and through her connections, she met Susan B. Anthony, whom many consider the mother of the women's suffrage movement.
Harriet was not in favor of the suffrage movement.
Kenneth Conklin, president of the Upton Association, says Anthony quickly turned her. Soon, Taylor Upton's life's mission was to secure women the right to vote.
She was president of the National American Women's Suffrage Association, and through her movements there, she was very much able to get people on her side, to motivate people to bring suffrage to really a human rights issue.
Trumbull County Historical Society Director Megan Reed explains Taylor Upton was a natural, having learned to navigate the political world from traveling with her father.
There were many people within the suffrage movement that were looking towards states' rights specifically.
But that was not enough for Taylor Upton.
Harriet Taylor Upton and her cohort was particularly pushing towards suffrage as a constitutional amendment, as a national right.
She was such an important figure in the suffrage movement. In 1903, her home, the Upton House, became the headquarters of the National American Women's Suffrage Association for a few years.
The headquarters were here for approximately 10 years in this actual room that we're sitting in.
It also moved to the Trumbull County Courthouse. In 1909, it moved to New York City. But Harriet Taylor Upton accomplished a lot on behalf of women's rights right through these doors inside these walls.
Sojourner Truth has been here. Thomas Edison has been here. 5 presidents have been here. Of course, Susan B. Anthony was here often.
The proof is on the walls in photos and letters. Some curled or worn after being found in basements. Some perfectly preserved, like this one.
Let me congratulate you on the progress suffrage is making. I have no doubt that the time is reasonably near at hand when your fondest dream will be realized. Yours very truly, it's President Harding.
President Warren Harding didn't make it to the Upton House, but plenty of others did.
We have President Garfield, President Cleveland, President Hayes, President Harrison, and President McKinley.
They visited, stayed, and had dinner right here to see Harriet Taylor Upton. In 1920, the 19th Amendment was certified into law. It says the right to vote should not be denied based on gender. Her story takes a sharp downward turn after her victory. During the Great Depression, Upton Taylor lost everything, including her house.
It was sold at a sheriff's sale, and all of her belongings, including her collection of books, were taken out on the front porch.
Her father and husband dead, she moved to California.
She died out there in 1945, was cremated. There was not a lot of money, so she was put in a pauper's grave, but there was a marker.
There is a happy ending. A group of historians, Conklin included, bought the house in 1989 and turned it into a museum.
Family dinners, a shower, we've had numerous weddings here, graduation parties, whatever.
School children toured as well. But Harriet Taylor Upton still wasn't back home.
We as an organization decided that was not right, that she was in California when she did not want to leave Warren. So we worked with the California courts for about a year and a half.
In 2011, her remains were shipped back here. She was given a proper burial in her backyard, which was always her haven.
Then we lowered her ashes into this, I guess it's a vault thing, and we put one of her books that she had written and a pamphlet from that night and the minutes from the last board meeting and so forth. That's all in there.
That was anchor Mandy Knoll reporting. Now, on Election Day, people are invited to lay their I voted stickers on her gravesite.
People do the same every Election Day at Susan B. Anthony's grave in Rochester, New York. Now, a huge hit at the box office has a local connection. We'll tell you the role a Trumbull County native has in Captain Marvel.
Plus, Barbie is 60 years old. A look at how the iconic toy has evolved over the years.
In every Honda is the soul of a race car, and at the Honda Dream Garage Spring Event, you can take some of it home. With a Honda CR-V, pretty cool, or a Honda HR-V. And they each come with sport mode. Speaking of something with a kick, I could really use an espresso. Huh. Guess it only works on cars.
Get a great deal on a Honda CR-V, awarded the 2019 Best SUV Brand by U.S. News & World Report at the Honda Dream Garage Spring Event.
Lobster Fest is on at Red Lobster with the most lobster dishes of the year, like Lobster Lover's Dream and new Ultimate Lobster Fest Surf and Turf. So come Lobster Fest today. And now, for a limited time, get 10% off Red Lobster to go.
The Big Bang Theory brings you Penny's not-so-genius guide to school.
How do you not know how to use glue? Did you ditch preschool?
Yeah, only because I was dating a second grader.
Always dress for success.
Watch this. Molecules.
And choose courses that inspire you.
Did you take any science classes in school?
I did the one with the frogs. A lot of the girls threw up, but I gutted that thing like a deer.
The Big Bang Theory, 5 nights a week.
Weeknights at 6:30 and 7:30 on Fox Youngstill.
Live drive action cam on the road when dangerous weather strikes, weekdays 7 to 9. Here on First News, we have one mission, covering news where you live first.
We're continuing that commitment. First News on Fox, Morning Edition.
The Valley's first and only live local newscast at 7 and 8 a.m. Welcome back. She's an iconic toy that stood the test of time, celebrating her 60th birthday this weekend.
Wow, as we celebrate women this month, Jennifer Peñate takes a look at how Barbie has led the charge in empowering young girls and women through the decades.
Barbie's small and so petite, her clothes and figure look so neat.
Barbie, an aspiration of perfection. Nothing was quite like her.
Barbie was created by one of our co-founders of Mattel, Ruth Handler, 60 years ago in 1959.
Barbie dressed for swim and fun is only $3.
Barbie encouraged girls to role-play being caregivers and nurturers. As the times changed, so did she, gaining more outfit options and more power.
I love our Astronaut Barbie from 1965. I mean, this was a doll that was created before Neil Armstrong and man went to the moon, which is pretty impressive.
As the decades evolved, Barbie's contribution to girl empowerment did too. The 80s and 90s saw Barbie achieve more by the year.
She was a CEO, and this was a time when there were a lot of movies about women breaking through the glass ceiling, and it was very popular in culture, and obviously women themselves were becoming CEOs.
The way the brand has changed has been the way that we have changed in culture. You'll always see Barbie being reflective of what's happening right now in society and the world of fashion.
Barbie has stood the test of time, being timeless and timely, reflecting what girls now see around them and being an inspiration for young girls to break even more barriers in life.
Niche careers like beekeeper Barbie and of course robotics engineer. We've always had great history in the STEM field, and that's an important area for us to continue to reinforce with girls.
With Barbie and Tinker, the possibilities are endless.
Barbie is not only reflecting change in women and their careers, but changing the meaning of beauty, launching its most diverse line in 2015.
The introduction of the body types, we've had multiple skin colors, eye colors, hair textures. We're on a path of continued evolution.
So as long as we continue to connect to culture and are as inclusive as possible, as reflective of the world around us as possible, I think Barbie will have the staying power for another 60 years.
Now, through the years, there have been a number of celebrity Barbies, including Elizabeth Taylor, Marilyn Monroe, and Audrey Hepburn.
Now, from Barbie to a superhero. Next, we're introducing you to a local woman who helped write the latest Marvel movie box office hit.
Hi, I'm Alexa Sweeney-Blacon, Vice President of Sweeney Chevrolet Buick GMC. We love having a diverse workforce of men and women working together. We have opportunities for everyone, and they help us make the best possible car buying experience. My name is Stephanie Posica, and I have worked for the Sweeneys for 40 years.
Hi, I'm Amanda Tharp, and I'm in customer relations here at Sweeney.
My name is Caitlin Leonelli. I am the HR generalist at Sweeney Chevrolet Buick GMC.
We're really proud of our women employees who are breaking boundaries and serving the Mahoning Valley.
Sweeney.
Start your future today. Visit Newcastle School of Trades.
Chicken. Auto show chicken. Cake. Auto show cake. Fords. Auto show Fords. No spinning required.
Right now, you can get a great auto show deal. Lease a 2019 Escape for $219 a month. Only from Northeast Ohio's best-selling brand.
What makes Peter Griffin so cool is the glasses. Topher! The shoes.
I shouldn't have worn high heels.
Oh, stop it. You look great. Gotta be the pants.
Peter, you know you're wearing... I know. I think there was a mix-up.
Oh, thank you, Jazzercise. This is actually kind of funny.
End of the show. Banana Family Guy.
Family Guy. Viewer discretion advised.
Weekdays at 4 on Fox Youngstown.
Now to the story of a woman who we first introduced you to on International Women's Day, March 8th.
That was also the premiere of the Captain Marvel movie, both appropriate for featuring Trumbull County native Meg LaFauve.
First News reporter Keely Levern talked to her via Skype because she now lives in Los Angeles.
Meg LaFauve grew up in Howland.
And then in terms of access, yeah, I'm not going to tell you it's not hard to come to a city or to go to try to get your dream.
But is now in Los Angeles living that dream as an award-winning writer, contributing to some of the biggest movies in Hollywood, including the wildly popular Captain Marvel.
There is going to be struggle, there is going to be risk, and that is part of the journey.
And although LaFauve's journey started in small-town Ohio, it grew into something as big as her dreams were.
Try little steps. It doesn't have, if you don't want to do a giant leap, don't do a giant leap. Do a small leap. But often the journey is made up of all of those small steps, right? There will come a moment you're going to probably have to take a big risk.
LaFauve says especially for women, there is no better time to take that big risk.
They want to hear our stories. They want to know what we have to say. And you do have something to say.
LaFauve's successful repertoire goes far beyond Captain Marvel. She also wrote Pixar's Golden Globe-nominated The Good Dinosaur and was nominated for a Best Screenplay Oscar for the Pixar hit Inside Out and won an Annie Award for that movie.
Just focus in on what your heart is desiring, what you want to do, and then try.
LaFauve says she wants to inspire other women to follow their purpose and not let anyone get in the way.
As a culture, we're not necessarily as women trained to recognize our wants. We're often trained to service, to make sure everybody else is happy, make sure we understand what everybody else wants.
Working as a freelance writer, LaFauve says she wants to keep pushing herself in her career and continue writing about female superheroes, both fictional and not.
And men too. I mean, just because I'm a woman doesn't mean I can't tell a man's story. It's more about talking about humans, right, who in a special moment, in a special time, stand up.
In Youngstown, Keely Lovern, WKBN 27 First News.
Now, LaFauve is currently writing a series for Hulu and an animated film for Netflix.
How cool. Thank you so much for joining us for this special presentation in honor of Women's History Month.
We've put all these stories you saw here in our show and a number of others of women who've made a difference. You can find them all on our website at WKBN.com and on our mobile app. Thanks for watching.